I'd like to welcome everyone to Bakkavor Foods Canada. It's been a great day for us. Welcoming you all to the site here. We've now been in operation in Canada for a year. Our first anniversary is on Thursday. And I guess from our perspective, it's exciting to be operating in Canada. For Bakkavor Foods, we see a lot of opportunities in an emerging market here. Back when we made the decision to set up a business in Canada, it was very much made possible through partnering with the government and the local people here. There's a good availability of skill, as well as further opportunities to develop skill and develop opportunities over the forthcoming years. So thank you for joining us today, and if you have any questions specifically about Bakkavor, let me know. But if I hand over at this point, I'll let the Minister speak to you about the involvement of the government.
Well, thank you very much, Gary. And I know, Gary, you're used to making food. You're not used to introducing politicians. So thank you very much for the invitation. Very, very happy to be here with my friend Lou Rinaldi, who all of you know. We're here today to congratulate Bakkavor on their success to date. They're right on track in their job creation. My former colleague Lou Rinaldi was here when they announced their expansion into Ontario with the help of one of our agriculture funds and with the Eastern Ontario Development Fund. And the reason I'm here today, and Phil, you can come up and join us as well, just so that you're here. Phil and Gary gave me an opportunity to sample a lot of this food, and it's very innovative. It's terrific for the fast-moving family, of which I have a 16 and a 17-year-old, soon to be in June and July, and this is the kind of product that will help certainly help my family live a healthy lifestyle and get the kids off to hockey and volleyball. And get us off to work on time. So I congratulate you for being a pioneer in this very, very important market. And we're delighted that the funding that we provided is going to good use here in Cobourg. 50 jobs created already, on the way, Phil tells me, to 300. We're not sure exactly what that timeline will be, but sooner probably rather than later. This funding's important because Ontario is competing in a fiercely competitive global environment. We want to attract companies like Bakkavor to our province. We are the third largest food services cluster in all of North America. It's one of the strengths of our economy. But because of that fiercely competitive global market, we have to have the tools to compete. And that's what the Eastern Ontario Development does. That's what the Southwestern Ontario Development Fund will do for Southwestern Ontario. In all, over 12,000 jobs created in Eastern Ontario as a result of this fund. And by created, I mean jobs created and jobs preserved. That's right across Eastern Ontario. We want to do the same thing in Southwestern Ontario as well, because it's been a great model. For every dollar of public sector investment in this fund overall, it's been $8 of private sector investment in return. So that's a significant amount, over $500 million of private sector investment that have resulted as a result of this fund in our province at a time when we really need it, because our economy is just on the return, but parts of our economy in Eastern Ontario, in particular Southwestern Ontario, there's been struggles. So this is the kind of fund that helps ensure that as the province rebounds from the global recession, as we grow a strong economy, and we created 46,000 jobs in Ontario just last month alone. Every fourth job in North America, or in Canada and the U.S. was here in Ontario. So one of 4 jobs created last month in Canada and the U.S. was right here. One of every 2 jobs created across Canada last month was here in Ontario. So our economy is responding, which is one of the reasons I'm here. In the next 24 hours, we'll find out if there will be an election in Ontario, whether the budget that we've put forward that will balance the budget, balance the deficit by 2017-2018, whether in fact that will pass the Ontario legislature. If it does, we'll be well on the road to continuing to grow our economy, because the single most important thing we can do right now for the economy is to balance the budget. That's what economists right across the province have been telling us. So it's important that that budget pass, number one. We need the stability to keep moving forward and growing the economy. Number two, before the legislature as well, and it's just passed through committee, it's going to the legislature very soon, is the bill that makes the Eastern Ontario Development Fund permanent and creates the Southwestern Ontario Development Fund. Should there be an election in the next few days, that fund will be very much in jeopardy. In fact, we're not sure whether it'll pass the Ontario legislature, even if there's not an election. So it's very important that residents of Cobourg, residents right across Eastern Ontario, understand just how important this fund is and contact their MPPs of all political stripes, suggesting to them just how important this fund is, the fact that we need jobs in Eastern Ontario, we need jobs in Southwestern Ontario. These funds are an important part of our recovery. Now, when my friend Lou Rinaldi was the MPP for this area, Lou was never, ever afraid to stand up for jobs. I think all of you here know that. He fought for jobs for this area just tirelessly. Well, the same can't be said of many of the other MPPs across Eastern Ontario today, in particular the Progressive Conservative MPPs, who have not to date supported the Eastern Ontario Development Fund and have not supported the Southwestern Ontario Development Fund, which is why I'm here today to call on all residents of Cobourg and Eastern Ontario to call their MPPs, tell them, number one, we don't need an election. That's the last thing we need as our economy is returning. Number two, that the Eastern Ontario Development Fund has been very instrumental in creating jobs. We're here today at a location that is fast growing, that now has 50 people working as a result of those investments. We want to do more in Eastern Ontario, we want to do more in Southwestern Ontario, but we need to get those funds through the legislature for us to be able to do that. So that's my comments.
Is the Eastern Ontario Development Fund, is that something that is reviewed each year or looked at each year as part of the budget process? Is it an annual?
What the legislation does, it is now, what the legislation does is it makes it permanent. Mm-hmm. It puts it in legislation, so regardless of who's in power, they would have to change the legislation to prevent it. Now, the amounts in the fund is done through the budget. So every year, what's spent is spent. If there's any dollars left over, it doesn't carry over to the next year. The next year, you go back into the budget process again. But I can tell you that there has not been a project that's been applied for and that qualified that has not gotten funded. So it's always been fully funded.
How long has it been in effect, Eastern Ontario specifically?
So 4 years now. 4 years. 4 years. Over 12,000 jobs created across Eastern Ontario as a result.
Okay.
Other questions?
You had a little tour of the plant?
We're going to do a little bit of more of a tour now. I've sampled I had the fun part. I got to sample the food, which was great. Nice, fresh, tasty. Not like you would expect of foods that come packaged like that. It's great to see. And as I said, having a young family myself, I'm going to be looking on the shelves of Loblaw stores for this very product.
Yes,
as President's Choice.
And how many food options do you have there that are offered?
We currently do 53.
53.
53 product types, and that varies through the year, so we introduce seasonal items and we continue to develop those lines.
So I was here when you first opened. When was that? I forgot.
April 26, 2011.
Oh. So here we are a year later.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, good. And you're quite happy with the way things are going?
Yeah, I think we've gained some more commitment from the Loblaws to sort of double the output. So we're currently in around 20 stores with a full offer. We'll be in 40 stores by the end of September, with a view to double that again by next March.
And you're still producing everything in your little pod system out there?
We are.
Oh, good. No, are you going to expand at all? Do you need to expand?
Well, our aim is to sort of expand quite a bit over the next couple of years. So at the moment we're in pilot phase. Our aim is to supply all of the Loblaw stores in Ontario, then move on to Quebec stores and then nationwide. So our aim is to keep growing. within the plant team.
Oh, okay, so when if you go up into September, doubling the stores, will that mean an increase in the employment around here?
Yes, yes.
Approximately how many people?
Looking at probably another third on top of what we're doing.
Did you say at the beginning there, something about
You have how many going now?
It's 50.
12?
50.
Sorry, 50.
50 jobs?
So a third more.
going up to 300 jobs?
What will depend on is the product mix.
Yeah, sure.
When you hit the national level, that's what we're looking
Yes.
at.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the ultimate.
Yeah,
That's
so
the
the
ultimate.
long
run,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
Okay.
that's the ultimate
Yes.
goal. And how's Cobourg working for you?
Great, great. It's a fantastic location. I think locally we've got a good workforce, good employed workforce. We've got good distribution networks being so close to the 401. So so far so good. It's perfect.
And no problem sourcing the food?
Not so far, not so far. I think it's something that we've got an eye on the supply chain as we grow, is making sure our suppliers have got the ability to supply bigger volumes. But I think there's, again, good local produce here, there's good access to markets globally as well. So it's a good location.
Good, thank you. And your line is does it have a specific name so we get it right? It's called menu?
It's market menu, so it's President's Choice Market Menu.
Okay, market menu. Perfect, good, thank you.
Can I
Can I
ask?
just hold some of the products?
Yeah, mate, why don't you,
Are we allowed to move this around?
Sure,
Or-
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's all pick up a product and just sort of without dumping it. You guys grab something there.
I'll pretend we'll go for one of the healthy ones. Might as well hold it.
Is that better for in terms of?
Okay, I'll take a couple like that too. Here we go. Go. Good. Good. Thank you. And then I just want to get you gentlemen all looking at the products if I can. I'll just get you guys just sort of. I'm gonna Lou, squeeze down over there, Lou, and Minister, you're good there, and I just need you guys to squeeze down this way. You're in the picture, there, don't you?
Right, the camera.
So we're just faking this. Obviously, somebody pick it up, and we'll take a look at something
This is
here.
what this is my favorite. We're good, I tried them, they were really, really good.
You know, it's funny, you don't expect it to taste like real food.
Yeah.
You don't, this is real food. This is the real stuff, and it's, you don't expect that because you're used to when things come packaged.
That's right.
They have to be so processed.
Right.
Yeah, this is great.
Perfect. Good. Last one. Good. Thank you very much.
Making everybody hungry here. Do you guys want to taste some as well? Because we do have product upstairs in the boardroom. If you want to taste it, it's out there.
You ought to check this out. This is pepperoni pasta. I've never seen that before. That was good too. Good. I can see that.
Your poster boy.
You're not even there. Let's go back for a second. Are you guys good? Anything else?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much.
Oh, it was so cool.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask, how likely do you think there'll be an election? How likely? Give us a percentage call.
Well, I mean, the Premier and the leader of the NDP are in talks right now as we speak. So I am hopeful that there won't be one on behalf of the people of Ontario, because I think people are very clear they don't want an election. I'm disappointed that the PCs have decided just to sit it out. I think that's an abdication of their responsibility. There was a lot in the budget that they could have seized being there, that was put in there to appeal to them, and they decided not even to try to work towards a compromise. I think the NDP have made an effort, which leads me to be hopeful that by the end of the day today or tomorrow, we'll have a compromise, but we'll have to wait and see with bated breath. And I just think now is not the time for an election. The people of Ontario don't want one. I think our government's reached out to both parties to seek support, and we've shown a willingness to work with either party. As I said, the PCs decided they wanted nothing to do with it. They'd rather go to an election. That's their choice. I don't think the people of Ontario agree with that. In fairness, the NDP have shown that they are willing to try to work with us. So we'll know in the next 48 hours whether we'll be going to the polls or whether we'll be moving forward and passing a budget that will help grow the economy and help get the books balanced by 2017, 2018.
Good, thank you very much.
Is Bill 11 part of the budget bill?
No, it's a separate bill, but the challenge is if there's an election, everything's wiped out and the bill won't move forward, which means
Okay,
it'll
well, I
stall
think
the ability to get these funds flowing again. Because even the Eastern Ontario Development Fund, it exists without legislation right now. But should this bill not pass, we can't move forward until we have a bill.
So if there is no election?
If there is no election, then the funding for this program will cease until it's resolved.
But it could, if there's no election this spring, could the bill be brought back in
Yes.
May or June?
Yes, it could be. It wouldn't be under a PC government, because they don't support it. So it's something it's one of the things that's very much in play. Terrific.
Good, thank you.
Guys, thanks very, very much. Thanks for coming out. I might see more of you down the road. My son's trying out for the Cougars. So.
Oh, really? Did you get some funding from the provincial government, and will you be applying again, or?
As we grow,